Welcome to the K1GMM 3-ring circus. I am the bringer of crack. My name is Steve. So ditch the pink polka dotted flower printed apron and the feather duster. Sit down, grab a case of beer, and enjoy the show. Hey, what's going on, you guys? K1GMM, you already know that. Who cares? I'm gonna do a lot of butchery here, and this is probably gonna be a long one. So feel free to come and go. I'm gonna throw together a set of 3-axis rotators. Hey, Greg, 983. Good evening to you. Carl, what's going on, man? Go get them. And I am going to get right to work. So I'm gonna go through the parts and pieces. Some of them I already prefabbed. Most of it, I'll show you the overall assembly. And basically it's 3-axis 12-volt DC rotator system. I've been using systems like these for, hey Theo, amazing live stream. Smoking? Are you smoking something? Hey Eddie, what's going on? So 3-axis, so you've got azimuth, elevation, and pitch. Pitch is the critical one. So what this allows me to do is the pitch rotator enables me to tilt the antenna like this. So if you're looking down the barrel, down the axis of the antenna, the boom, it allows the antenna to pitch like this for changes in polarization on the satellite. To be honest with you, I'm getting kind of tired of this satellite stuff, but and I really wasn't in the mood to do this, but I was bored and I was like, dang it. Hey Lofty, how's it going? Eddie. And so I figured, what the heck, I'll show you guys how I put it together. And it can all be done. I'll go over the tooling required. Minor tools, there are some things you can, most ham radio operators have this stuff in their arsenal. If they do any kind of fabricating. So it's nothing radical, nothing eccentric. So anyways, let me get over to the bench. And God, this is going to be lengthy. What I'm going to do is, I guess what I can do is I can put the chat on the screen. But what I'll do is I'll have my cell phone over there and I'll log in and I'll go to the chat. So maybe I can keep track of the chat that way. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to stop me in my tracks. But there was someone, I can't remember. Hey Tim, how's it going? I can't remember who it was. Asked me to do a complete build start to finish. He's interested in getting into this tomfoolery. So I figured this is a good place to start. I'll start here. The next step will be the antenna construction. And then I will go through how I have my Go box set up for Doppler correction. I'm not going to go into installing gpredict and GQRX. All the information's online. I'm running Linux Lite and a little mini PC on that. So, but I will show you how everything's hooked up and how it works. So anyways, over to the bench. Where are we? We need this one. No, we don't need that one. We need that one. I thought, where's my other camera? Come on. Where'd my other camera go? Did I lose camera 2? That's camera 2. Oh no, it's up there. So I'll be in the top right-hand corner of this screen. I'm crazy. What's up, Paul? How's it going? Yeah, I'd like to get gpredict running on Windows, but let me just address that before I go. Here's something I found out. Anybody interested in gpredict? I found out that I love the way gpredict works on the Go box. I worked with it. It's stable, runs great. However, here's the catch. if you're using something like a 706 Mark II-G or an 857D, Yaesus are notoriously off frequency. All of them are right out of the gate on VHF and UHF. I couldn't get it running on Windows, Paul. I don't know what I did. But it actually, G-Predict is a pain in the arse for me. For the simple fact that because the 857 is off frequency to begin with, every time you light it up, you have to go in and you have to shift the PPM so that, because what G-Predict does is it tracks, I guess, it tracks the downlink and the uplink together. So no matter where you click, no matter where you click in the display, it automatically takes the radio there, right? The problem is the 857 is off frequency to begin with, so you try to zero beat it on the pan adapter, it doesn't work because it'll move the uplink is with it. So you're always off frequency. I found that out. So the only way to beat that, I found, really, is to change the PPM adjustment in G-Predict on the downlink, which does work, and it works really well. Once you change that and so your uplink is right on the money, it works great. But I actually prefer console. I hate to say it, I prefer console over G-Predict just for that simple fact that you don't have that problem on console.
Kilo Charlie 3 Indigo Kilo standing by.
That's DMR. If you have, that's basically, Paul, where you, I don't have time to show you. Look it up. Just look it up. There's a setting in GQRX where you can change that on your downlink. And so basically you can shift your downlink so that when your uplink hits the satellite and comes down, it's right on the money. So that's the only way I found around that, which it's not a deal breaker. I can deal with that. It only takes a couple seconds to do that. You'll see where your signal comes up on G-Predict. You'll hit the bird and you'll see your signal on G-Predict and it'll be a little out. It'll be like that. So all you have to do is shift that and keep, just check until it locks up, and then you're good for the entire pass. All right, I'm heading over to the bench. Yeah. I think this is the one we need, right? Yes, it is. So what I have to do, I'm going to kill the microphone because I got to move the mic. Okay, how's my audio? Looks like I got audio. All right. Man, it's freezing in here. Don't you love DMR? It's like there's got to be 1 million people connected to DVM North America 93, and this poor guy, Michael, what is his call? Come on, KC3IKK, put out his call. Nobody goes back to him. It's so ridiculous. Okay, let me get make sure my volume is down here. So I need the chat. Pop out chat. What? Come on. What the heck? I guess I'm going to have to do it this way. Yeah. I guess it doesn't pop out on a cell phone. Let me try it one more time. Never tried this before. So I guess on a cell phone I have to navigate to oh gosh, ridiculous. Yeah, not letting me do it. So let me see. Oh, good Lord. Come on. Now I gotta unlock the stupid thing. Jeez. No, it won't be able to do it that way. Alright. I'll try and keep track of it here. So, set that thing over there. Okay, what do we got? I'm going to go over the parts and pieces first, and there's a lot. All of this is built on 1.5 inch PVC. All right, so you'll need a fairly short length. I would say 2 feet of 1.5 inch PVC. All right, which is these. I have these cut. This is for elevation. This is for pitch. They're both the same length, approximately 3 inches long. You will need a total of 3 1.5 inch end caps. Okay. You will need oh, what did I leave it upstairs? Oh, good God, I gotta go upstairs. 1.5 inch coupler. I'm building the antenna on 1 inch PVC. So this is a 1 inch PVC T. I'll explain why I need that later. The basic general goodies solder, you do need a length of copper pipe. So probably a couple feet a foot of copper pipe. Now, this is actually the axle that this is coupled to the motor drive. Need a couple 12-volt DC motors. I'll go into that in a second. What you do with this to create the axle, you need copper end cap. This is 1/2 inch copper end cap. Drill a hole through the end cap and insert a stud with lock washers on both sides through the end cap. Smash it down tight. Okay, this is a quarter 20 stud. I put it on a bench grinder and put a flat edge on it, and I'll explain why later. And then these are a set of bushings, which this is approximately 5/8 OD. Now, I build everything on 1 inch PVC. Everything couples to 1 inch. All my portable stuff is just easier to build it all the same. So, I make bushings. So I take a piece of 1/2 inch PVC, which will go into a piece of PVC, okay, like this, like the T. Take a 1/2 inch piece of PVC. I have to punch out the center to 5/8 ID. It will friction fit down over this piece of copper, and then I grind down the outside of that 1/2 inch PVC so that I can sneak a piece of 3/4 inch PVC over the top of it. Now, this particular one is designed to couple to, now this 3/4 inch PVC is greater than 1 inch in diameter by itself. So I have to grind it down. This is a piece of 1 inch PVC that I inserted into the T. This goes in here like this, and then it's pinned in place. And this is basically the elevation rotator, okay, which is coupled to the motor drive, like that. Okay, I'll show you all that. I gotta go upstairs and I gotta get the most important piece. Good grief. Be right back. Idiot. Yeah, right, Glenn? I don't know. I've never tried that before. Maybe you guys could tell me how it works. All right. So, 1.5 inch PVC T, 1.5 to 3/4 inch reducer. Aha. This is the important piece. This is a 1.5 to 1 inch reducer. I'll show you why that's important. Okay. Have a little silicone grease for getting this crap apart if I have to. 12 volt DC motor drives. For this project, I use centric shaft motors. This is a 2 RPM motor. I cannot get them anymore. Amazon sold out. They do this and then all of a sudden they show up again. You can use like a 5 RPM motor, but it's too quick. So I have been able to step it down using a resistor. Cut the speed in half without the motor stalling. It still has enough grunt to spin everything. You don't want to do that really if you're going to run it continuously, but because this is so intermittent. Hey Andy, how's it going? Paul, Glenn, and D2TRF. Good evening to you. So you will need 2 centric shaft 2 RPM motors or 5 RPM motors with some kind of step down circuit. Yes, I do, Glenn. That's what's on the satellite. That's what's on the station antenna. Does good, but I've had coupling issues, which I have solved. Unfortunately, it's not as cheap. It's much easier to do it this way. Just spend the money and do it, and I'll show you in a second how it's done. The weakest link I found on this system is the coupler, which couples the shaft to the motor drive. All right. Where am I? Okay. You'll need assorted screws, quarter 20 screws. You'll need lock washers. You will need small set screws for the motor drives to hold them in place once they're inserted into the PVC. You will need, this is the electrical end, I'm not going into this today, but you will need double pole, double throw switches for forward and reverse directions, and you'll need 3 of them because there's three rotators actually involved. You will need long screws, which basically pin. They will go through here and it will lock. It will lock the drive shaft to whatever you're coupling to. Don't glue it. If you have to take it apart, you're screwed. You're gonna have to smash it apart. And trust me, you ain't gonna break this crap. You could throw this out of the back of a truck at 50 miles an hour and it'll just bounce down the road. You'll probably bend the antenna all up, but this thing will still be together. This stuff's hard to break, man. I don't know if you tried to break like 1 inch to 1.5 inch PVC. Electrical. Everything's controlled through Cat 5. And I'll get into that. I'm not dealing with that today. So, the couplers. You can order these through Amazon. They are solid couplers. They're very thick, robust. You can see. Now this little contraption, this is the arm that actuates the pitch adjustment. Okay? This is nothing but, you may even have some of this. I have a lot of this stuff kicking around, man. This is nothing but corner brackets. That's all it is. You can buy a whole box of them for, I don't know, $1 something, couple dollars. Corner brackets, so there's 2 involved. So this goes to one of the motor drives, right? And then there's another one which goes over to the antenna. And as this thing turns, it tilts the antenna back and forth. Unfortunately, we won't be able to demo that today. First thing you need to do. Good Lord. Okay, first thing. Let me show you. This is the azimuth rotator. I need to take it apart because I'm going to change out the coupler, and I'm going to go to one of these. I have a homemade coupler on here, and see it's got a little play. I don't like that. You ain't going to break it because it's actually, I made a universal joint out of a set of steel sleeve bushings. So the only way this is going to break is if you shear the pin right out of it, or you break the motor. I don't like this play because what happens is you'll spin the antenna and it'll kind of wag like this because there's too much play. So I have to pop this off, release these screws, put a set of pliers on it, and pop the thing off. Tear it down, but works great. This is a 2 RPM motor built into here. Same as this. Okay, now you do not need a centric shaft for the pitch rotator. As you can see, this is not a centric shaft. This is offset. So, all right, let's get the motors into the tubes. Easiest way to do this, you'll notice that the motors they're loose. How do you fix that? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So basically, what you got to do is you got to wrap this modicca in duct tape. And I probably should go, and we'll do it this way. And I'm going to have to use a whole mess of duct tape. What you got to do is you got to build up the surface of it. So we basically start wrapping. And you don't want it to kink. You want it nice and flat. And you're thinking, oh my God, the zip tie duct tape guy, he's back. You're damn right he's back. I love my zip ties and duct tape. I've got antennas out in the bushes from my 11-meter days. We're talking 8 years ago. Guess what? The duct tape and zip ties are still on it. I can't break them. I have to cut them off. I was dismantling an antenna last fall, and I was like, holy crap, check that out. Now, the easiest way to do this, I was going to do this for you guys, but I forgot the caliper. Take a dial caliper. Okay, let's check to see where we're at. Take a dial caliper, mic the inside of this tube, lock it, and then when you start wrapping the duct tape, you can slide the dial caliper on and see if you're close without having to jump through. No, a little bit more. So we just keep on adding. Can't believe I'm doing this today. So not in the mood. You got to be in the mood to play this game, you know. Oh, let's go build something. Not. Okay, let's see where we're at with that. Ooh, me likey. Me likey. Did I go too much? Oh, just perfect. That's what you want. All right there. So you can slide this puppy in. All right. So there you go. There's the housing for the motor. Who else is in here? I don't know, Glenn. I have no idea about that. Okay, now this is the elevation rotator I'm working on. So, where do we go from here? Where's my big gun? So this is the PVCT, the 1.5-inch PVCT I'm going to use for the elevation rotator. Now this, remember, wait a minute. Yes. Where'd it go? So this is going to sit on here like this. Okay, so you got your azimuth. I want to make sure you guys understand what you're looking at. So you've got azimuth, okay, and this.
CA3, KYE, listen.
Hey, there's JJ to the jet plane. Sorry, can't answer you, buddy. So this goes in here. The axle goes in there. Okay. Now, the next step to this is the ugly part. 1.5 to 1 inch reducer. Now you need a bearing. You need a thrust bearing for this to ride in, right? So here we go. This is the ugly part. You can get these bearings. These are go-kart wheel bearings from Amazon. Really cool. They're not expensive either. You can get a whole package of them. I don't know, 10 of them, 8 of them, 10, 12 at a time. And this tube rides perfect inside of here. The problem is, this is 1 3/8 ID. 1 inch PVC tubing is 1 3/8 OD. Okay, 1 inch ID, 1 3/8 OD. So this is designed to take a piece of 1 inch PVC. This, however, is just slightly larger than 1 3/8. Suck! What do? You break out the trusty Dremel. So I'm going to make some noise. This is going to take a little bit. Problem is, this stuff goes everywhere, man. I'm gonna do some serious vacuuming and cleaning after this. There's a little line on a lot of these couplers you'll see, and that line is like the perfect. Ooh, that's close. What you want it to be is just a very slight friction fit. You guys are probably like, why don't you just buy it? Because first of all, they don't make a pitch rotator, right? Doesn't exist. I've never seen one. And I ain't gonna spend $700 on a stupid rotator when I can build one for ooh, mamacita. That is really close. Just gonna take off a little on the inside. Couple ridges in here. You don't own a Dremel tool? Buy one. You're crazy not to have one of these. Don't have a heat gun, but that's good advice for anybody else. There it is. You gonna go in there? No. Not quite there. You want it to be tight. You don't want it to be flopping around in there. That's the problem. I know you guys, none of you guys are interested in this, but there is one particular individual that expressed an interest. Dadgummit. And how I put it together, so. Ooh! Come on, you bad boy. There we go. Got it. Alrighty. Now, what you do, take this guy. That goes into, where's my rag? This, I'm going to break this all down because I have to grease it, do all kinds of stuff to tie it off, but I'm just doing the basic assembly. So that's what it looks like. All right, that's the thrust bearing. Now, okay, you've got the shaft, so these have to come off. This freaking plastic crap, it's all got to be cleaned up. Or don't clean it. Who cares? As long as it works, run it. This ain't rocket science, folks. You don't have to make a big deal out of this crap. It's really actually pretty silly if you think about it. It's a lot of time. But like I said, I ain't spending $700 for a system like this. And also, they don't exist. See, this is built on 12 volt DC, which means you can take it out in the field with you. Buy a secondhand one. I'll let you buy it for me. How's that? You buying? Also, they don't run on 12 volt DC. Busted! See, this is designed for portable and station use. I run mine right off the power supply in the station. What, hit a bearing like that? Oh, where's the bearing? Never hit a bearing like that? Like that? Holy crap. Thanks for the schooling, Charlie Cheesewhacker. Oh my God. Okay, so this should line right up. So let's get these bad boys. Now, if my measurements were correct, which they probably aren't, because I did this morning in a hungover, post-drunken stupor. normally I never do it that way. I never take a measurement. I do the assembly and I do the cutting as I'm assembling. That way I know the measurements are right, but hey, you know. Okay. I thought I took a bearing out already. 1, 2, 3. No, I didn't. Okay, we're gonna get these in here. Ah! Get 4 of these in. I wanted to have music playing, but the problem is I can't broadcast it over YouTube. You know what I'm gonna do? Jeez, I could put music on in my freaking ears. Because this is so freaking boring, I can't stomach it. Okay, I'm gonna have to put on, because I can't see what I'm doing. There we go, Junior Johnson. Now we're cooking. Come to Daddy. Get in my belly. There we go. As the fattest of bastards would say. Who's your favorite character from Austin Powers? You guys, just out of curiosity. I love Fat Bastard. I think he's the most disgusting thing on the face of the earth. Just freaking kills me every time I watch it. Of course, it's played by the same guy. But whatever makes you happy. Okay, so let's get you. Probably not going to matter. This is all going to be painted anyway, so what the frick do I care? Oh, I didn't pay attention to where it was. Ah, frick. You got to leave one of the screws out so you can see where the flat side is on the, you know what? That's what a Sharpie's for. So this is the flat side right here. You want one of the screws to go on that flat side of that stud. Otherwise she's going to spin on you. And we really don't want that. Well, maybe you want that. I don't know. Sounds like a personal issue to me. Come on, baby. Okay. What I'm going to have to do when I break it back down is all these set screws need to be pulled, and then Loctite needs to be applied to them. Don't put it together without Loctite. You'll be sorry. The jiggling motion, all that stuff, it will go loose on you. Yep. let's see where we're at. Ooh, really long. Crap. That's really long. Overcut that one. That's okay, because that's what a freaking die grinder's for. She's seated? Yep. Okay. The catch is, now you're probably asking me, why don't you just set the motor inside this tube? Well, you can't, because it fits better into one of these. So now what you have to do basically is, oh, where are you? So, what we're going to do, where is my... where'd you go? Come on, I have a whole... thing of wire here. Unfortunately, freaking plastic all over me. Okay. Where's my little baby? These motors, you don't want to drop these motors on the back side. They have little tabs that you solder the wire to, and they are not very stout. You can only bend, I would only bend them so many times back and forth, and then you're pretty much screwed. You snap one off, you're junk. And there we go. Okay, so basically you want a pigtail out of it. So what I'll probably do is I'll cut this long, because it's got to go to the main harness, which is going to be the Cat 5, which drives it. Now, you don't have to use Cat 5. You can use something else, but it's just very convenient. See, that's going to be on there. So let's go to, let's cut it about there. Okay. Okay, so basically you need a 1/2 inch end cap, 1.5 inch end cap. That's great. Super D duper. Let's see what I got in here if something will work. Don't work. All right. Now you can put some strain relief on this if you want. You may want to take this, tie a knot in it, or take a zip tie and put it down around it. I'm very careful, so okay. Before you do this, what you want to do basically is check if I have a bit small enough here. What you're going to want to do, and I'll do this later, you want to prevent that motor from moving. So what I use are very small, 4 of them, very small set screws. So you drill 4 holes, one here, one underneath here, all right? And you basically pin the motor in place. Do not put too much tension. You will not believe how strong that PVC is. You can actually punch into the motor. Not punch into it, but you can actually deform the casing of the motor. I've done it, and the motor won't run. I was like, why the heck doesn't the motor run? Well, I had too much tension applied on the motor. I would not glue these in. Don't do that. I suppose you could if the motor goes on you. Screw it, but you want to be able to take this apart if you have to. Why destroy anything if you don't have to? So basically, there is your elevation rotator. I'm gonna have to cut that off. Holy crap. That is just beautiful, man. Look at that. Almost very, very tiny bit of play. Where'd he go? Okay, so this goes on here, like this. Okay. Now this goes on here like this. So the antenna I'm building is on 1-inch PVC, and it's going to be a split boom. So that's how that works. Now this, of course, goes on here. I can't believe I cut that long. Boy, was I off on that one. Crap. I'm gonna have to set that in place before I do anything else. Okay, so I'm not going to pound this down on because I'm taking it apart. So it's very tight. If I press it on, I want to get some of this silicone grease on there. This is just plumber's grease. You can get it in any hardware store. It's great for PVC to keep it from seizing up on you. So, all right. That is a done deal. So pretty much. I just got to cut this off, put these couplers on, and spank it onto here. Now this thing cannot protrude into the center of the, this is the mount for the antenna. The reason why is because I have a piece of 1-inch plastic, I don't know what it's made out of, Delrin or something, which is going to slide into the 1-inch boom. So the 1-inch boom's going to be cut in half. This is going to slide in, and then I will have 1-inch lengths of PVC just inserted in here. This is a coupler, so just take it in, cut it off flush. 2 parts of the antenna, the axle goes through, 2 parts of the antenna go on. Right? So, all right. Now we'll move on to the pitch rotator. This is what makes the magic happen if you like to work satellites. You will never be out of a bird if you run one of these, even with a conventional arrow on a fixed system. Flip of a switch, that thing will flip, and I've seen, I hear the guys all the time talk on the birds, the thing's flipping and twisting. Well, I'm like, well, it doesn't affect me. I always have it because of that pitch adjustment. Just a quick flick of the switch, boom, the antenna goes like that, and boom, I'm right back in it, and you can go back either side, any variable in between. Okay. Now we got to do the same thing with this one. So let's do, what did I do with it? How come you guys weren't counting the number of turns that I did? You're supposed to be doing that, so I didn't have to do this again. I'll put that on you. How's that? Now remember, I mean, this is for lightweight stuff. You can't put. Now, I will tell you, one of these rotators will spin. I have 2 of them out in the garage that I use for contesting. They have azimuth indicators built into the control box. They're cool, man. All built just like this, except a little bit different. And I spin a 2-element 6-meter Moxon with one of these, and it spins it like nothing. Effortless. That's a big antenna. Big. It's got some weight to it. It's definitely got, I've been out there with the wind blowing. Doesn't matter. They're a lot stronger than you think they are. And the beautiful thing is so what? You grenade one of the motors, pop it apart, order another one, $10 to $15. Like I said, hell of a lot cheaper than $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. Plus, it's 12 volt DC, which means you can run it off a freaking battery if you want to. And trust me, they got plenty of grunt. They will turn a big antenna, believe it or not. These motors are gear reduction drive, by the way. How are we doing? Let's go with that. No, not there. Wish I had my dial caliper. My cheese whacker. Again, don't let it bubble or kink. You'll be sorry. Oh, come on. Come into it now. Oh, I'm all wet. All right, that's a done deal. Okay, this, excuse me, the pitch rotator, I use a centric shaft, all right? Not a centric shaft, an off-center shaft. Why? Is because I want to position this, remember, to make this work, I'm going to use these as straps. So I flatten these and I bend them to curve around this tube. And this motor drive actually mounts right to the boom tee. Okay, but this doesn't look anything like this. It's actually like it kind of goes around like this and then up like this, and then the screws go through. And this basically, and this is extremely free floating. This pitch rotator. This does not, you don't need this to be like the Rock of Gibraltar. All right, you just want to make sure this motor doesn't move inside here, so you need to set screw it. But this has very little load, very little tension on it. It will snap that antenna so fast it'll scare you, side to side. So basically you take these, put them in a vise, smash them down, and then bend them to the contour of this plastic, and you can make yourself a set of brackets. I wouldn't use hose clamps. You want it like permanently mounted. You can fabricate a bracket or something, just screw it to it. So this is going to be screwed kind of like this, okay? So the reason why I use this particular type of motor that's not centered shaft is because I want to place this, I want to be able to give me as much leeway as possible. So let's say you've got your actuator arm on here, right? And that's not in there all the way, so I'll deal with that in a minute. So you've got the antenna here, right? And you got your motor drive, which is mounted to the antenna T. So you're going to have another actuator, which is going to be loosely bolted. Okay, loose. These two pieces need to move. So you'll have one here, right? And then one down to a tab, an L, on the boom of the antenna. So when this turns, it pulls the antenna and changes the pitch of the antenna. So that's how that works. And I'll get into that. I'll have to show you that once I build the antenna and get it put together. So here's the catch. If you've got a motor that is non-center, not centric shaft, you're going to need a half-inch hole, half-inch bit, and some of these caps, I'll just warn you, are very, very thick. They have too much meat on them, because what you want to do is when this motor shaft comes through this cap, you want to make sure that you get enough meat of that shaft into the coupler, okay? Because you don't want it to be like just barely hanging in there. So what I did is I ground down the surface of it a little bit. Now, if you measure from the center of the cap, if you mark the center of the cap, these motors, if you drill a hole exactly 1/4 inch anywhere off of center from this cap, this will line right up. So, where are we? And there you go, Junior Johnson. So basically what you do, take your coupler. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that up. So let's get this put together. Might as well do this because this will be all set. I leave, now these are aluminum, right? So I have to grind the threads down a little tiny bit. Shoot, I didn't mark it. You gotta mark it, dude. Mark where the flat spot is, where you're gonna be able to grab. Where's the flat spot? There it is. Where the set screw goes in. Set screw has to go in that flat spot. Put it on a bench grinder, whatever you got, and grind that stud down. Now you can also weld this. I usually weld them, but I'm going to try this. These two star washers, I have so much tension on this, I almost stripped it. So if that comes loose, I'll be very, very surprised. Usually they do not come loose. So that relieves you of having to weld anything. Here we go. Swing. Set it. Boy, I can't believe I mismeasured that by that much. I hate to waste copper. Copper's expensive, man. There is plastic shavings everywhere. I got to get the vac down here. It's all over my hands. Yeah, I gotta freaking love it. See, this is not hard. It's not hard to do. It's pretty easy. It's just a little tedious. You know, there's a lot of parts and pieces to it, but it's not expensive. I think, I don't know, you'd have to talk to my buddy John, W2JON. There may be a possibility you can automate these. I don't know. I would imagine you could. Without too much, if you know how to do that. He's got multiple automated systems on his satellite array. Now he's in the process of finishing one up right now. Okay. Now I gotta get crap. That's pretty funny. I try to keep the polarity, and it really doesn't matter because they're going to be reversible. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which side you connect it to, because you're going to have to reverse these. So that's going to be dependent on the switch when you set up your switches and you wire it for reverse, double pull, double throw, and I'll include a schematic when I do that video of exactly how to do that. Most of you guys probably know how to do that anyways, but I'll do it. Crap, there's a whole gob of solder on this thing. That sucks. Well, what we'll do, let's do it this way. These do not require a lot of power to run. They do not require heavy gauge wire. Remember, this is just 12 volt DC. The load on it is nothing. You won't even see your power supply or anything hiccup. Nothing. Where is... That's one. That's two. Oh my God! You never believe what I just did. I just soldered the ends. I just soldered the ends of the other motor, the elevation motor, onto the ends of this. I thought it was a loose piece of wire I grabbed. It's not. It's funny right there. Hey, what the heck? Now they're tinned. Perfect. That is hilarious. Oh, God. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible because I need a drink. Hey, Randy, what's going on? Can't stop eating. Dude, Paul, I do that crap all the time. All the time. Yeah, my memory, dude, is freaking shot. It's completely shot. Scary, actually. I asked my wife, I said, do you think I should go see a doctor? It's mostly the focus thing. I have a hard time with focus. And I never used to. So I don't know. I know people that are in their 50s that get Alzheimer's. I'm hoping that's not happening to me. That would be quite the show, wouldn't it? God, I love this new soldering iron. This station, it's a Tills wall. This thing is hot in a matter of just a few seconds. And it actually goes to, 480 degrees Fahrenheit, 896 degrees Celsius. That thing is amazing. Okay, wires are on. Let's push this up and through. You know what? That is not quite right. That needs to be opened up a little bit. Bummer. Not quite where it's supposed to be. Is it? No, I just didn't have it. Good grief. There we go. Oh, alrighty then. Where's the flat spot? Oh, yeah. We are good to go. We are good. This is really the easy part, building this. The freaking antenna sucks. That's going to be a full day event, easily. This is silly. There we go. Do not drop these unless you got a lot of light in the room. Okay. What did I do? What a dinkus. got rid of my drill bit. Check that out. I got a friggin' hammer drill, matching hammer drill. Wife got it for me for Christmas. Is she freaking amazing or what? That woman, I tell you, I was so pissed when she got me this. Thing is freaking creamy. Dude, you gotta put the wire through the right way. Dork man. Okay, so there you go. There's the pitch rotator, which, like I said, is gonna mount right on the side of this. It's heavy, but that's why I'm building this on 1-inch PVC. There's some girth to it. It's funny, I can't even turn the motor in there. The motor shouldn't turn because it's not centric, so the minute it tries to turn, it's going to bump the edge. You know, so technically, you don't even have to set screw this motor. Not necessary. You just want to make sure it's free. You know, the motor's going to have a tiny bit of play. That's okay. All right. So now what I got to do is I'm going to measure this. So I need to I need this to come up. One inch. So I need to knock off a bunch of this here. You know what? I just want to make sure. You know what I'm probably going to have to do? I'm going to have to set this in place first and make sure the PVC is completely seated before I measure that and cut it. Yeah. So anyways, that's basically it. This goes on there like that. This is going to be mounted, the poles I use all have 1-inch PVC coupling on them. So I think what I'm going to do, I was building this to actually drive down the road with it. Just have the antenna so it would nest, you know. And I still may do that, but I don't like the fact that, you know, every bump, the wind I'm not concerned about. We've had winds well over 70 here already with the array out back, and didn't even touch it. So I'm not concerned about the wind. It's the vibration and the shock that worries me. So, you know, you've got, the antenna's going to be about close to 40 inches long, you know, long. And every shock and vibration, that thing's just going to be like all over the place, you know, and it's just going to work everything. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so all I have to do is pop it off. The antenna's going to be all connected to it. I just pick it up, plop it on the stand, give it a little shove, hop in the truck, hit the power button, I'm off and running. I think that's how I'm going to do it. So that's it. I gotta make sure this is all seated. I gotta set screw it. Once it's set screwed, I can measure this, take off 1 inch, slide the homemade bushings on. Homemade bushings on, and This will go on here. And that's for the antenna. So I got this, I got this, I got this, and I've got this. 3-axis. There you go, man. Easy as, I mean, how stupid simple is that, right? It's so simple. Anyways, tools. What do you need for tools? You don't have, and this is what I was going to tell you. Let me grab one of these. You don't have to use this. You don't have to use a bearing if you don't want to. Take a piece of PVC, right? Let's say you've got, you need a 1.5 inch T. How can you do this without the bearing? It would save money. It would probably work just as well, and it would probably last for a decade. Like I said, I got crap like this from 8 years ago, sitting around, and it's perfectly fine. And trust me, I worked the crap out of this stuff. So, you know, you could take, instead of doing that, using a bearing, you need to step this down to 5/8 somehow. So you need to create a thrust bearing. Now you can create the thrust bearing out of this, right? Step this down, get a 1.5 to 3/4 inch reducer, which is what this is, right here. Okay, you take a piece of 1 inch PVC, or a 3/4 inch, no, that's 1 inch. Where's my, no, this is, yeah, that's 3/4, I ground this down. So, you go to a 3/4 inch, right, coupler. So now what you do is you take a 3/4 inch piece of PVC, cut it to, come on, 1 inch, cut it to 1 inch, that goes in here. Then you take a 1/2 inch piece of PVC, grind the outside down so it sleeves into, right, into that 3/4 inch. Who's home? Wife home already? They can't be home already. So the 1/2 inch will sleeve into this. The 3/4 inch goes in here, right? The problem is this shaft is 5/8. This is 1/2 inch. So you can either use this, or you can use a 5/8 bit. Now you can, here's the tough part. A 5/8 drill bit, you can get them in 1/2 inch drives. Now I don't have a 1/2 inch drive. So I ordered a 5/8 bit off from somewhere, I can't remember where, online. And you just drill it before you cut it, clamp it in a vise, send that 5/8 bit through it a bunch of times, and it'll ream that freaking piece of 1/2 inch PVC out. And then guess what? That's your thrust bearing. That will turn into the thrust bearing that this will glide through. You can take some silicone grease and just grease the shaft, stick it on there. Same thing, man. Same thing. I just wanted these so that they were absolutely grenade proof, this part. You'll never break that. You know, if you did it that way, never in a million years. The only thing I wanted it very smooth with no catches, and you may have some issues. You may have to do a little work to get that to work for you, but it'll work. And you don't even have to use the copper. Find something else to use. The reason why I used 1/2 inch copper is because I had it, and the 1/2 inch copper end cap, it's very easy to create the coupler for the motor out of that. So you put the 1/2 inch end cap on it, and drill a hole through it first. Put the stud through, right? Put the stud through with a lock washer here. Slide the stud through the inside of the cap. Pull this out through the top. Drop a lock washer on, a nut, and crank that mother down. And trust me, you will break the copper before you ever mess that up. stake my life on that one. That's it, you guys. I think I'm pretty much wrapped up for now, so I'm gonna head upstairs. Little kind of dinking around to do, but as you can see, it's pretty stupid. All 12 volt DC, run it right off your power supply, deep cycle, run it off your freaking car. Make a jack where you can plug the thing right into your car if you've got your station built into the vehicle. Like I'm going to run mine in the vehicle. So what I'm thinking is, my vehicle is noisy. It has a lot of EFI. So I'm not going to be able to do that. But what I'm going to do is run off of deep cycles, have everything jacked in, ready to go. All I have to do is drop this puppy, which will have the antenna on it, right on the pole I have already on the back of the truck. Loosen the thumb screw, push it up, hop in the truck, hit the power button. We're off and running. I probably will have it running all the way up the road. All I have to do is just do it. So I'll see you guys later. Have fun. See what's going on before I check out. Okay, you guys, looks like it's at the end of the chat. Paul, I hope you find your pliers, buddy. GM4 is EJI. Hey, man, how's it going? See who else is. I don't think there's many people in here. So, Randy, always good to see you. Carl. I will catch you guys later. Have fun. I'm going to kill it. Be back at some point.